because a lot of moms has also broken the hearts of young men. I'm Ghanaian. For all my African people, please. The seeking of validation. The only reason why it controls you is because you believe them. Hello, hello, hello. Hello guys, thank you for coming back. Welcome everybody, and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As normal today, I am excited. We're going to talk and we're going to have some fun today. The topic of the day is validation. Seeking validation from other people. Why are we doing that? How to overcome, and what are the struggles that comes with it? And why are we doing it? Why are we so focused on external validation? So, without further ado, let's get into it. We are living in a world where seeking validation, especially outside of who you are, that is so heavy prioritized nowadays. How many likes do you have? How many followers do you have? How do you look? What are you wearing? How is your hair? It feels like so much things outside of us can determine who we are, or can determine what kind of score or in what kind of box they will be putting us. And this is not only for social media, this can be in the family as well. I'm Ghanaian. For all my African people, please, I want to hear y'all in the comments. In our community, the seeking of validation in other people is huge. And it's not like, oh, are you pretty or not? No, it's more like, what kind of school did you do? What are your academics? Where do you live? What kind of job do you do? Like, I'm gonna give one example, and I know that if my mom's gonna see this, she's like, no, it's not true. But this is how I feel, and this is how I saw it from my own perspective. So I have worked for the government for a few years, and my mom was gassed up. Like, everywhere we were going, especially when there were Ghanaian people around, she'd be like, oh yeah, Bettien works there. Oh yeah, Bettien works there. Even if I would say, please don't tell people, she would be like, no, I won't tell them. And then the next day it would be like, hello, today I'm live from the Netherlands, and in today's news we're gonna talk about Bettien her life. I know she also did it because she was proud of me, of course. But if I'm thinking about different kind of validation that we as people are seeking, it can be from social media, of course, because a lot of us have been there, done that, family, academics, but also male validation or female validation for both men and women. Last but not least, validation from your friends. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize that sometimes we attach so much value on how our friends are looking at us, what they are thinking of us, and sometimes we are just acting up because we want to be liked, right? Both in the online world and then also in the real world. And speaking about male validation, when I was younger, I've been addicted to male validation. Not in a way of, like having a lot of sex, because I feel like when we're talking about that, it's always very either this or this, but there's also like in between. And I feel like sometimes that is maybe even more difficult because it's something a lot of people struggle with, right? If it comes to women having a kind of addiction to male validation, it is rooted in daddy issues. And I feel like if men have a addiction with validation from women, it is most likely rooted in mommy issues. It's the system we're living in, right? Seeking validation is more than only physical appearance. If you have a job, you are working there for a year, and then they have to decide if you can stay, and they make you stay. You also have a kind of validation because they like the work you do. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean to say? And for example, you watching my YouTube video, if you are liking this video and sharing it and subscribing, for me it feels like a validation, right? Because then it feels like I am doing something good. I am making an impact, if that is my vision, let's say. So why is it that we as people, we are craving validation sometimes? We are craving it. We want it so desperately. If you've been brought up in a society where that is the standard, it's normal that you are gonna have it as a standard as well if you're not aware. And that's why I always say it's important to know your history. It's important to know the system, how the system is built, because if you're aware of that, then you can easily think and separate like the standard from the world and then the standard of God. But also know that the standard of the world changes. It changes a lot. If I may give an example, I'm living in Amsterdam and I'm African. My mom is African. My dad is African Jamaican. When I grew up, because I was African, a lot of people were like, yeah, we don't like African people. Yeah, African, da 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 da. And I know in a lot of places it's still like that. But that's a conversation for another time. But then, of course, Afro beats came in, Afro artists came in, and all of a sudden it wasn't hype. So now it's like everyone here wants to be African as well. And I'm just like, hold up, excuse me. This is what I mean with standards of the world changes. 10 years ago it may be like this, and then this time how we're living in this day and age, it can be different. A lot of us, we have a need. The moment that we seek constantly validation from other people, we have a void inside of us and we are trying to fill that void. And that's why I made that video about hookup culture. You can watch it here or here, I don't know where the card is. A lot of us have a void and we want to fill that void. And that void is most likely rooted in childhood issues. Maybe childhood traumas. Maybe you didn't get the love and attention from your dad in a way that you would like or that you needed. You're constantly searching for it in other men, hoping that they can give you that kind of attention that you're craving so bad. And this also applies for men, because we talk a lot about men, we talk a lot about fathers, but we don't talk enough about moms, enough about women, because a lot of moms has also broken the hearts of young men who were growing up and didn't get any emotional need, but they were in need of needing that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just remixing today. But I just wanted to highlight this because I feel like we're a lot of the time always focusing on the men and the fathers, but not enough on the mothers as well. We have a lot of women struggling with daddy issues, but we have a lot of men struggling with mommy issues as well. So let's talk about the things you can do to stop seeking validation from other people, or at least be conscious about it and minimize it. So let's start with number 1, and that will be, let's be realistic. Never ever seeking validation anymore in your life isn't something that exists. If you think about it, we sometimes need a certain validation to thrive. But the thing is, it starts to become a problem when it controls you. And that brings me, of course, to my next point. If you are addicted to seeking validation from other people through social media, so from men, from women, from likes, from followers, y'all know what I'm talking about. I want to challenge you to disappear from social media. You need to learn to live your life without validation. You need to learn that you can survive without validation. When I started this whole journey, because a lot of y'all know I'm a TikToker as well, I made a conscious decision that I will be connected with people who follow me, of course, because I love the community, but I will also have my private life. I will also have time for myself. And I really advise you to do the same thing. If this is something you really want to change, disappear from social media. And don't be afraid, you will not miss anything. And then the third one is figure out what you need. Why are you seeking validation? Why and which kind of validation? If you have that clear for yourself, find out what you need. If it's something that's rooted in childhood issues, find information how you can make sure that you can heal that wound. Sometimes you need to talk to a professional, to a coach. Sometimes reading books is enough. Once you know what you need, you can work with focus. You can work with focus on what you have to tackle. And figuring out what you need is also a very healthy form of self-love, a very healthy form of taking care of yourself. And y'all know this channel is about soul care, growing as a person, and about exploring yourself and making sure you get to discover yourself. And the next one I want to talk about, and I think this one we don't talk about it a lot, but who are the people around you? What are the things you are watching? Because sometimes we keep seeking for validation because we surround ourselves with things that trigger us. See what's happening there? For example, social media, but also, for example, TV shows. And can I tell you a little story about myself? For a long time, I watched TV shows like Temptation Island, Love Island, The Perfect Match, Pop the Balloon, and Smash or Pass. I never watched. But I do want to say, if you are someone who is struggling with seeking validation already, but then also at the same time, I don't believe that those kind of TV programs are always healthy things to watch, because it's not the reflection of the real world. Not everyone is skinny, not everyone is this, not everyone is that. So I feel like if you're consuming those kind of TV shows, it definitely has impact on how you're gonna look to the world. And then the next point is listen to your inner self. And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes we are so busy, so much noise that we can't hear ourselves. And when do we hear ourselves? If we are quiet, if we are with ourselves, if we are resting. No music, no TV, no social media, just laying on the couch, just laying in bed and just being with yourself. A lot of times our thoughts are telling us something. Our thoughts are also there because they are communicating something that we are dealing with or that's going on underneath all the things that we are doing, underneath all the things that we are pressing away. Sometimes we have a lot of things going on unconsciously, but we even don't know because we are so busy with life. Listen to your inner self. Next point, stop asking people for their opinion so much. Oh, I did that for a long time. If I wanted to post an Instagram photo, do you like this? Which one do you like? Do you see this? If I wanted to post my first TikTok videos years ago, do you like this? What do you think about this? What? Like, stop. And it's not a bad thing if you go to someone and you ask something, their opinion or how they look at something or what their thoughts are on something. But it's more like the more people you're gonna ask, the more confused you are going to be. And then at the same time, be confident in the things you do. Be confident in the things you post. Be confident in the things you say. I think we should learn to trust ourselves more. You don't need all those opinions to decide for you. You decide, because it's your life. And of course, don't get me wrong, you can ask for help, of course. But at the end of the day, make sure that you are doing things or you are choosing things or you are deciding things that you support as well. And the last thing I want to say, you are enough. You are enough. And that's why today I'm in my pajamas, because I was feeling like I do want to film, but I don't want to film and make myself all glamorous and nice and this and that, because today I wasn't feeling it. I'm sorry, I wasn't feeling it. I am not perfect, but I will definitely be real. So yeah, you are enough. And I wanted to end this video with a quote. If you know yourself, you'll not be harmed by what is said about you. Of course, if someone is saying something, it can hurt, of course, but at the end of the day, it doesn't say something about you. It doesn't define you. You were defined already before that person said something, before that someone did something. You already knew who you are before that person said something. So yeah, it can hurt. Seeking validation is a form of you not knowing yourself and letting other people decide. If you know yourself, a lot of things will change. The only reason why it controls you is because you believe them.